The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Raj Yoga, Chapter 1, Introductory, Part 2. The science of Raj Yoga proposes to put before humanity a practical and scientifically worked out method of reaching out this truth. In the first place, every science must have its own method of investigation. If you want to become an astronomer and sit down and cry, "Astronomy, astronomy," it will never come to you. The same with chemistry. A certain method must be followed. You must go to a laboratory, take different substances, mix them up, compound them, experiment with them, and out of that will come a knowledge of chemistry. If you want to become an astronomer, you must go to the observatory, take a telescope, study the stars and the planets, and then you will become an astronomer. Each science must have its own methods. I could preach you thousands of sermons, but they would not make you religious until you practice the method. These are the truths of the sages of all countries, of all ages, of men pure and unselfish, who had no motive but to do good to the world. They all declared that they found some truths higher than what the senses can bring to us, and they invited verification. They asked us to take up the method and practice honestly. And then, if we do not find this higher truth, we will have the right to say that there is no truth in the claim. But before we have done that, we are not rational in denying their assertions. So, we must work faithfully using the prescribed methods, and light will come. In acquiring knowledge, we make use of generalizations, and generalizations are based upon observations. We first observe facts, then generalize, and then draw conclusions or principles. The knowledge of the mind, of the internal nature of man, of thought, can never be had until we have had the first power of observing the facts that are going on within. It is comparatively easy to observe facts in the external world, for many instruments have been invented for the purpose. But in the internal world, we have no instrument to help us. Yet, we know that we must observe in order to have a real science. Without a proper analysis, any science will be hopeless. Mere theorizing, and that is why the psychologists have been quarreling among themselves since the beginning of time, except those few who have found the means of observation. The science of Raj Yoga in the first place proposes to give us such a means of observing the internal states. The instrument is the mind itself. The power of attention, when properly guided and directed towards the internal world, will analyze the mind and illumine facts for us. The power of the mind are like rays of light dissipated. When they are concentrated, they illumine. This is our means of knowledge. Everyone is using it, both in the external and the internal world. But for the psychologists, the same minute observation has to be directed to the internal world, which the scientific man directs to the external. And this requires a great deal of practice. From our childhood upwards, we have been taught only to pay attention to things external. but never to things internal. Hence, most of us have nearly lost the faculty of observing the internal mechanism. To turn the mind as it were inside, stop it from going outside, and then to concentrate all its powers and throw them up, the mind itself, in order that we may know its own nature, analyze itself, is very hard work. Yet that is the only way to anything which will be a scientific approach to the subject. But what is the use of such knowledge? In the first place, knowledge itself is the highest reward of knowledge. And secondly, there is also utility in it. It will take away all our misery. When by analyzing our own mind, man comes face to face, as it were, with something which is never destroyed, something which is by its own nature eternal, pure and perfect, we will never be more miserable, no more unhappy. All misery comes from fear, from unsatisfied desire. Man will find that he never dies, and then he will have no more the fear of death. When he knows that he is perfect, he will have no more vain desires, and both these causes being absent, there will be no more misery, there will be perfect bliss even while in this body.